Maybe they need to say that's what I was thinking. Hope I don't knock anything over. My God, I can't stand. I know. Here, go back here.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the services, I'd like to kindly remind you to silence your cell phones at this time as to not disrupt the services. We will begin our service today with the rendering of military honors in the United States Army. And following the service, Rabbi Cantor Nancy Ramsden will officiate.
Army, rightful nation. Please accept this flag as a symbol of appreciation for the most honorable and faithful service.
I want to thank all of you for being here today to honor the wonderful life of Harris, someone who I only had the privilege to meet once and then see at the funeral of his late wife. It is customary to begin a funeral service with the traditional act of Kriya. We know that everyone's hearts are torn as we say goodbye to Harris. Some mourners have a choice to make a tear in their clothing. Otherwise, we provide a Kriya ribbon. Melissa and Matthew, as direct mourners, you've been given this ribbon. It's pinned over your heart. If the two of you are able to stand right at your place just for a moment. In just a moment, I will invite the two of you to make a tear in this ribbon to symbolize how your hearts are torn. And you'll notice that the ribbon has purposely been pinned over your heart. And it's only children who pin the ribbon over their heart, because there is no bond as unique and special as that between parent and child. If there were other direct mourners here, their ribbon would be pinned on the other side. There are traditional Hebrew words that are said before making a tear in this ribbon, and I invite the two of you to repeat these words after me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam dayan ha'emet. These words mean, praised are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, judge of truth. From the bottom of the ribbon up towards the circular button, you can go ahead and tear the ribbon either a lot or a little. You have a choice to wear this torn ribbon only today, or the first week of mourning, or the period of Shloshim, 30 days. You also have a choice to wear this ribbon on the outside or tucked in the inside. If you choose to wear the Kriya ribbon on the outside and people see you wearing this torn ribbon, hopefully they will understand that you are in a period of mourning and they'll have compassion on you. You may be seated. We come to this sacred place drawn by the eternal ties that bind your souls to the soul of your beloved Harris. In learning about Harris, I have selected a few readings and poems that I felt were fitting for him. And certainly, as we were just so moved by the military honors, I share with you this beautiful poem by Joanna Fuchs. If someone has done military service, they earn the title veteran and more. They earn our deep respect and admiration. That they are special, no one can ignore. They sacrifice the comforts we enjoy. The list is long of all the things they gave. Our veterans are extraordinary people. They're loyal, dedicated, true, and brave. Whoa. This is the first for everything. Tuck it in. When terror and invasion were real threats, they showed us they could handle any storm. We owe our freedoms and our very lives to our veterans who served in uniform. Our veterans should be celebrities. They're exceptional. No other group compares. We're grateful for the many things they've done. They're always in our hearts and in our prayers. Harris lived 94 years. What an incredible life he lived. There's this beautiful poem entitled A Life Well Lived. Unfortunately, the author is unknown. A life well lived is a precious gift of hope and strength and grace from someone who has made our world a brighter, better place. It's filled with moments sweet and sad, with smiles and sometimes tears, with friendships formed and good times shared and laughter through the years. A life well lived is a legacy of joy and pride and pleasure, a living, lasting memory our grateful hearts will treasure. So laughter through the years. If you knew Harris, you knew he had a great sense of humor, and he loved to make you laugh. Vivian Wade wrote, "A sense of humor is important, as shock absorbers are to a car. It helps to get over rough patches that come to us near and by far. A sense of humor is really needed, as a tightrope walker needs a pole. It helps to keep us well balanced. It can cheer and make joyful the soul. A sense of humor is necessary, as yeast is to the rising of bread. When raising our voices in laughter, happiness to others will spread. A sense of humor is important. The Bible in Proverbs, we read, "A merry heart does good like medicine, which is very good medicine indeed." And on days such as this, no matter how many years someone is blessed to have, especially at 94 years, when we love somebody so much, we want more time. We want more laughs. We want to celebrate more joys together. So in days like today, we look for comfort. And many find comfort when we turn to the book of Psalms. Psalm 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the mountains. From whence shall my help come? My help cometh from the Lord, who made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel doth neither slumber nor sleep. In your service folders, and we have extras if you did not get one and you need one, you can just raise your hand and one will be given to you. I think everyone has one. In your service, no? Do you need one? Or you can share. Okay, up front in the first row here. Um, the 23rd Psalm, I believe, is a psalm that speaks to all of us, regardless of our faith. And so I'd like to invite all of you to join with me in reciting the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Harris was blessed with a beautiful family that loved him so very, very much. This next poem, whose author is also unknown, speaks about this being the greatest gift of all, and that is to have such love from family members. Not everyone has a loving family. One of the greatest gifts that life can give to anyone is the very special love that families share. As years go by, it's good to know that there will always be certain people in our lives who care. For there are countless things that only families have in common, and memories that no one else can make. And these precious ties that bind a family together are bonds that time and distance cannot break. How fortunate we are when we have relatives to love us. It makes the world a happy place to be. Few gifts in life will last as long or touch the heart as deeply as the very special gift of family. We are honored today to have Harrison's grandson, Michael, who is going to share some words about his grandpa.
Just a second here. Hi everyone. I think I know most of you, but for those of you that may not know my name is Mike, and I'm Harris's grandson. Before I begin, I want to thank everyone for being here today as we've gathered to honor the life and legacy of my grandfather, Harris Goss. Harris held a special place in each of our hearts that can never be replaced, but will always be remembered with great love. He was a dedicated husband of 66 years to his wife, Yola. He's a loving dad to 3 children, Melissa, Matt, and Sue. And he was a proud grandparent to Ben, Rachel, Madeline, and I, and great-grandparent to Spencer. Growing up, I spent countless nights at my grandparents' home. My favorite memories were pretty simple, just sitting around the TV after an excellent meal, watching Seinfeld, and just chatting about anything and everything, from what was going on that day to old war stories. All the while, my grandpa fiddling around with the remote, never quite figuring out how he wanted the volume set, and most of the time getting Spanish subtitles somehow set up on there. But you know, I think that was probably intentional. It always generated a laugh, and that's what my grandpa was always trying to do, bring laughter and happiness to everyone. I have fond memories of watching White Sox games together with my grandpa and my cousin Ben. We'd My grandpa would always ask who's up to bat. One of us would tell him the name of the batter, and he'd proceed to just butcher that last name. Usually had my cousin and I just cracking up, and we'd inevitably miss most of the game. But those are my best memories of watching baseball. And that's what my grandpa did. He always made you laugh. All the time. But in addition to brightening any room he was in with his humor, Grandpa was also a kind, caring person that would go out of his way to help others. When I think of the kind of person my grandpa was, a story he used to tell always comes to mind. Obviously, as you all just saw, my grandpa was in the U.S. Army, and he served in the Korean War. At one point in the Army, he was with his fellow soldiers sitting in a foxhole and got a gut feeling that something wasn't right. He could have taken that opportunity to just jump up and, kind of get himself out of the situation, but he went out of his way to make sure all of his fellow soldiers got out of that foxhole, and they missed an explosion by seconds. His compassion and care for others saved lives that day. I think he lived much of the rest of his life with that same caring, compassionate mindset. Whether it was making sure those he loved were provided for, or going out of his way to brighten someone's day, my grandpa was always putting others ahead of himself. Grandpa will be missed dearly. Anyone who was around my grandpa knew of his generosity, work ethic, humility, and selflessness. Albert Einstein once said, "Our death is not an end if we can live on in our children and the younger generation. For they are us. Our bodies are only wilted leaves on the tree of life." So let us celebrate my grandpa's life and continue his legacy. Thank you, Grandpa. I love you, and I'll miss you.
Thank you. That was so good. Your grandpa loved you so very much, Michael and Natalie, and Ben and Rachel and Madeline. You guys were everything to him. But of course, he loved his children as well, Susan and Melissa and Matthew and Carol. He was truly one of a kind. His life was unique in many ways. I think above all, though, it was always coming back to family. He was the loving son of Albert and Betty, and a loving brother to the late Miriam and late Ruthie. And those years, 66 years with Yola. And then as his family continued to grow and then to become a great-grandpa, it's one thing to be a grandparent, but then a great-grandparent to Spencer. He was also somebody who his nieces and nephews loved so very much. Unlike many people who serve our country, Harris really liked to talk about those years, and he would share many stories, about which we've heard some, but there was another one that was shared with me that you may not have heard. Harris saw some children who needed rescuing, and he rescued these children and brought them to safety. There was even a photo taken of this. So it takes somebody really brave to do all the things that Harris did. And as Mike, you pointed out how he was selfless, he always put others first. He was really proud of his years serving our country, proud of his family. He was a huge history buff. He loved to read books about history. But he also really loved his profession, the work that he did in the printing industry. As a lithographer, he had these maps and large presses and posters, and you enjoyed looking at them, and he certainly enjoyed sharing them with you. And then after he retired from that, as many people who when they retire, it's like, what am I going to do now? Well, he couldn't just sit around. So he worked part-time in security, but he also enjoyed being with family. He loved to take photographs. I understand he was always with a camera. And you may not have always liked the idea that he would take a picture of you in the middle of you biting into something that you're eating. He was known, I guess, to take a lot of candid shots, but he was always with that camera. He loved to take pictures. He also enjoyed going to the Botanic Gardens with Yola. And with his grandchildren especially, he loved to watch sports and he loved to attend their games and events and recitals, whether it was baseball or fencing or soccer, going to concerts or brownie meetings. He wanted to be there. He wanted to show up, and he did. He and Yola enjoyed going out with their friends, whether it was to go out to eat or just play some cards, being together. They enjoyed their trips to Wisconsin and Canada. Harris also loved dogs, especially he had fond memories of his late dog, Rocket. How many of you knew Rocket? Just a few of you. It was a long time ago, right? But he loved dogs. He loved your dogs. He was such a practical joker. I love the story that was shared that really cracked Rachel up, how he would take his dentures out. It would kind of freak her out. He would just do about anything to get a laugh. Melissa, when you graduated college, he was over the moon. He was so proud of all of his children and all of the great success and life that each in your own way of his children have had in their lifetime. But I think what stood out the most in what Matthew and Melissa shared was the pride and joy that Harris had for his grandkids. Harris was somebody that whenever any of you would ask him, do you need anything? His reply would be 5 winning lotto numbers. He loved playing Little Lotto, and he actually won a couple of times, so I'm told. We know that none of us are going to live forever. Did you see that butterfly? Some of us believe that's a sign. And the sun is shining. What a difference a day can make. None of us are going to live forever. We know that intellectually. What we don't know is when our time will come. It doesn't matter. Death comes at all ages, at all stages of life. Some of us will be lucky enough to have 94 years, and some of us won't. And so we hope that we can learn from Harris the way he lived his life, to live with such joy and pride, to make the most of each day. I hope that you will always not only remember the stories you have of Harris, but to document those memories and those stories. And I would encourage you to do so in a variety of ways. Technology is always changing. I'm not so sure a piece of paper is going to go out of style anytime in our lifetime. I could be wrong. But find a variety of ways to document your memories so that when, let's say, Spencer grows up one day and has children of his own, or the other grandchildren have children and future generations yet to be born, they need to know about Harris and his incredible life and his courage and his love for our country and his love for all of you, his family. Cherish your memories of his sense of humor, his love of taking photographs, and his love for his country and for all of you. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, the memory of the righteous is forever a blessing. And to that we say, Amen. Amen. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. It is only the house of the spirit which we now lay within the earth. The spirit itself cannot die. As the casket of Harris is being lowered into the grave, I share with you this beautiful poem by David Harkins. You can shed tears that he is gone, or you can smile because he lived. You can close your eyes and pray that he will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that he has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see him, or you can be full of the love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember him and only that he is gone, or you can cherish his memory and let it live on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn your back, or you could do what he would want. Smile, open your eyes, love, and go on. I invite you now to turn to your service folders once again. Underneath the 23rd Psalm, you find El Malei Rachamim, and on the back cover, you find the Mourner's Kaddish. It is customary that we rise for these prayers, so if you are able to rise, I invite you to please stand at this time. But if it's safer to sit, your safety is more important. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Amramim, Say Menucha Nechana Tachat Kanfei Hashchina Im Kedoshim Uteorim Izar Harakia Nazirim Et Nishmat Hershal Shalach Leolamo Harachanim Yastireu Beseiter Kinafecha Leolamim Bitror HaChayim Et Nishmato Adonai Unachalato V'yanuach b'shalom Al Mishkavo V'nomar Amen. Let us say together, compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Harris Goss, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let him find refuge in your eternal presence, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace, and let us all say, Amen. And now on the back cover, we turn to the Mourner's Kaddish. It is said that the angels brought this prayer down from heaven. It possesses wonderful power. Truly, if there is any bond strong enough to link heaven to earth, it is this prayer. We join together in exalting God's name with these traditional words of the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich maluchutei, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the author of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us. And to that we say, amen. Please be seated. We'll do it after, yeah. They're going to seal the vault, and after they do that, we have here some holy earth from the Mount Olives in Jerusalem, Israel. So for those of us who will not be buried in Israel, we bring a little Israel here with this holy earth. Traditionally, it's just the immediate family who shares the contents of this pouch and places it into the grave, after which they will lead all of you in the tradition of participating in the burial process. Some say that this is the greatest mitzvah meaning good deed of all, by having all of us who are here help in the burial process with the traditional 3 shovels of earth or 3 handfuls of earth. You'll notice a large mound of earth behind me, and they have usually a couple shovels on each side of the grave so that more than one person can shovel at a time. So after the immediate family places the holy earth in, they will start with the 3 shovels. When you're done shoveling, you do not pass the shovel. You return the shovel to the mound of earth, and the reason we never pass the shovel is we would hope that each individual participates in this mitzvah, this good deed, from his or her own free will. So do your 3 shovels. It doesn't matter how much earth you get on the shovel or how much earth you place into your hand. Some people actually turn the shovel upside down, sometimes just for the first of 3 shovels, sometimes for all 3 shovels, and that is to symbolize how difficult it is to bury somebody that we love. Shoveling with the shovel upside down is difficult. It's symbolic. There's no right or wrong way. It would just be nice if you can all participate in this mitzvah.
41. 441.
I'm surprised they made it so long ago.
Yeah, right.
Together support one another.
Three shovelfuls of earth.
And if it's hard for you,
It's easier to scrape it off the bottom of the wood.
She's the sweetheart of it all. Like a mother. I loved her mother. Like my mother. My mom's sister. They were part in age, I think. Yola was 17 years
Would you like
younger.
me to do 3 shovels for you?
So 3 of them. You know my Aunt Dora?
once you're done shoveling, you can come back under the tent where it's a lot cooler. Oh my gosh, I under the tent. It's so hot out in the sun. There's no order really. You can go on either side of the grade, and you can participate now, making lines on either side of the grade. And Martin did the 3 shovels too.
I'm sorry, see you on some stuff. I wish I could have saved my Appreciate you going out.
You can tell when they're breathing and it just doesn't sound.
Yeah, no, that's unusual.
It is unusual. I don't know. I think it's expression.
So many veterans are passing away. They didn't have enough words. They instituted a recording that looks like a trumpet, and then they just play and they just sit there with their cheeks
And you
full.
can tell that they're not even breathing. They don't even fake it. You know, it's like, come on, at least look like you're breathing, you know? Because I was thinking it's a bit and it's like, but I was watching. It's so touching every time I hear it. They use some heavy equipment to fill the grave. It takes a few more minutes. You don't have to stay until the grave. And not everyone has the same opinion if they want to stay or not stay. To have this happen, it might take another 10 minutes.
That's okay. I'm fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and the same is true for your test.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could have your attention for a brief moment. The family would like to invite you to join them for a meal of condolences following the services here today. The meal of condolence will be at the Continental Restaurant and Banquet Center in Buffalo Grove. The address and phone numbers are in your booklets as well. Thank you.
So this concludes the service.
service, you're all invited to return to your car. If you wish to stay while the grave is completely filled, you certainly can, but it is totally optional. Thank you so much for coming and treasure your wonderful memories. Here, that's to you. And just reach out if you have any support. We're here for oh, I can't. I really he does a great job back there with oh my That happened to me. That happens to me all the time. I meet so many people. I see them outside of your and then you forget a little bit. Yeah. Oh, people love. Yeah, right? For someone. So they're so fortunate to have him for so long. She'll be 94. If she remembers.
She doesn't know you're this one.
I was wondering if I saw you with the Lanes on the dinner on Saturday night at Jameson's, or was that, was I imagining? Jameson's? I thought, yeah, I thought that was you, but I was walking out, I was closer to the entrance when you walked in and sit down. And I'm like, I kept hearing this conversation, so I didn't leave my friends, at least the three other people, to leave, but I thought, you know, in my eye, I'm like, is that who I think it is? So,
Yeah, it's leader, sure.
I get this.
That one's tough. Oh, no, that one, get out.
Yes, already. I've been doing more and more already. I'm so grateful because of that now. In August.
They hit it off the top. Really? Wow, yeah. Change that around. Are you going? Oh, you're not going.